Hello friends, I welcome you in lecture number 2 on Fourier series. In previous lecture we have discussed what is periodic function and we have understood some formulas which are required for this topic Fourier series. So here in this lecture we will see what is idea of Fourier series. So suppose we have some periodic function, say fx. Then if some conditions are satisfied, then we can represent fx as an infinite series known as Fourier series. So in this topic or in this chapter we are going to represent periodic functions as a sum of infinite series, and that infinite series is known as Fourier series. So if some conditions are satisfied, then we can represent fx as a Fourier series. Those conditions are known as Dirichlet's conditions, but here we are not going into the details of those conditions. We will assume that our function can be represented as a Fourier series. So we are going to discuss how to find out Fourier series of a periodic function fx. So suppose fx is a periodic function. Now we will discuss Fourier series into two parts. First we will consider Fourier series of functions of period 2 pi, and then we will generalize this concept to Fourier series of functions of any period. So first we will focus on 2 pi periodic functions. We will discuss how to find out Fourier series or what is Fourier series of a function of period 2 pi, and after discussing these 2 pi periodic functions we will generalize our concept to functions of any period. So in this lecture our focus is on the periodic functions of period 2 pi. So suppose fx is a periodic function of period say p equal to 2 pi, and we assume that fx can be represented as a Fourier series. Now here suppose our interval on which function is integrable is interval from alpha to alpha plus 2 pi, where alpha is any real number. So for different values of alpha we will have different intervals of length 2 pi. If I consider alpha equal to 0, I will obtain the interval 0 to 2 pi. If I consider alpha equal to minus pi, I will obtain this interval minus pi to pi. So this is the general interval of length 2 pi, and we assume that our function fx is integrable on this interval. So Fourier series of fx is given by this infinite series a0 by 2 sigma n equal to 1 to infinity an cos nx plus bn sin nx. So here this cosine and sine functions are used, therefore this series is trigonometric series. So this is the Fourier series of fx, which is periodic function of period 2 pi, and these a0, an, bn are called coefficients of this function fx, and because this is Fourier series of fx, they are known as Fourier coefficients of function fx. So how to find out these Fourier coefficients? So we have ready-made formulas for these Fourier coefficients. This coefficient a0 is given by 1 by pi alpha to alpha plus 2 pi fx dx, integral of fx over the given interval. Suppose given interval is 0 to 2 pi, here we will consider limits as 0 to 2 pi. If given interval is minus pi to pi, we will integrate fx from minus pi to pi. So that will depend on the given problem, that in given problem our function is given on which interval. the Fourier coefficient an is given by 1 by pi. Again, limits are from alpha to alpha plus 2 pi. Here we remember in this way. Here coefficient an is multiplied with cos function. So here we multiply function fx with cos nx and then we integrate, and n is running from 1 to 3 and so on. And coefficient bn, so this coefficient bn is obtained by multiplying fx with sine function. So, and limits of integration are from alpha to alpha plus 2 pi. Fx is multiplied with sine function. N is running from 1 to 3 and so on. So, using these three formulas, we will obtain the Fourier coefficients of periodic function fx. These formulas are known as Euler formulas. And this series is known as Fourier series of function fx of period 2 pi. Now, if we obtain Fourier series of fx, suppose this is the Fourier series of function fx an cos nx plus bn sin nx. This is the Fourier series of function fx of period 2 pi. So now value of function fx at every point is given by this Fourier series, is given by sum of this Fourier series if function is continuous at point x. So if function is continuous at point x, then value of function at point x equal to the sum of this series at point x. For example, suppose I have x equal to pi, then I can obtain value of function at x equal to pi as f of pi equal to a0 by 2 an cos n pi plus bn sin n pi, n equal to 1 to infinity. If function fx is continuous at x equal to pi, then the sum of this series at x equal to pi and value of function at x equal to pi are always equal. So the value of this series at point x where function fx is continuous is equal to fx. So if our function fx is continuous at every point, we can write that fx equal to its Fourier series. But suppose our function is not continuous at some point. Suppose our function fx is discontinuous at some point, say x equal to c. Then at x equal to c, the sum of this Fourier series is not equal to value of function at x equal to c. If I consider x equal to c, I will obtain this infinite series. So if function is not continuous at x equal to c, I cannot write this is equal to f of c, because function is not continuous at x equal to c. In that case, I have to consider right hand limit of fx at point c and left hand limit of fx at point c, and I will take their average. So the point at which function is discontinuous, the sum of Fourier series at that point is equal to average of right hand limit and left hand limits of function fx at x equal to c. And the points at which function is continuous, suppose function is continuous at point x, then at that point the sum of Fourier series equal to value of function at x equal at that point x. So using this concept, we can find out sum of some infinite series by taking particular values of x in the formula of fx. Suppose our function is continuous at every point, and if we want to find out sum of this series at some point, then that infinite sum is obtained by simply value of fx at that point. So this is the beauty of this concept of Fourier series. Using Fourier series, we can determine the sum of some infinite series by value of function at those points. So we will discuss all these things in the examples. So first we have written all these things. Fourier series of functions of period p equal to 2 pi. So suppose fx is a periodic function of period 2 pi, and suppose fx is integrable on the interval alpha to alpha plus 2 pi, then the trigonometric series a0 by 2 plus sigma n equal to 1 to infinity an cos nx plus bn sin nx is known as Fourier series of fx if the coefficients a0, an, bn are given by these formulas. So we will remember these formulas. a0 is given by integral of fx over interval alpha to alpha plus 2 pi, and we divide by 1 over pi. We multiply with 1 by pi. Similarly, an is given by fx times cos nx dx, integral from alpha to alpha plus 2 pi into 1 by pi, and bn is given by 1 over pi integral of fx sin nx dx over the interval alpha to alpha plus 2 pi. So these limits of integration will depend on the given interval in the given problem. So these formulas are known as Euler's formulas, and these coefficients are known as Fourier coefficients of fx. And as we discussed, the sum of Fourier series is fx at every point x where fx is continuous, and the point c at which function is discontinuous. The sum of Fourier series is the average of the left hand and right hand limits of fx at point c. That we can write mathematically in this way. This is the Fourier series of fx. So the sum of this Fourier series at point x equal to fx if function is continuous at point x, and sum of this series at point c is given by average of right hand limit and left hand limit if function is discontinuous at point c. So we will understand all these things when we proceed with examples. So in this lecture we start with this example number 1. We are asked to find Fourier series of the function fx equal to x square. Interval is from 0 to 2 pi, and it is given that fx is periodic function and period is p equal to 2 pi. And using that Fourier series, we will derive that pi square by 12 equal to this infinite sum, or the sum of this infinite series on right hand side is equal to pi square by 12. That we will prove after getting the Fourier series of this function x square over this interval. So as we know, to write down the Fourier series, first we require coefficients a0, an, bn. They are known as Fourier coefficients. So first we find Fourier coefficients of fx. And in this example, period of fx is p equal to 2 pi, and fx is given by x square over the interval 0 to 2 pi. So we will consider limits of integration as 0 to 2 pi. So first we find out coefficient a0. So the formula for a0 is integral of fx over the given interval, and in the multiplication we consider 1 by pi. So we put fx equal to x square. So integral is easy. We know that integral of x square is x cube by 3. So this is going to be 0 to 2 pi. So if we put x equal to 2 pi, we have 2 pi raised to 3, that is 8 pi cube divided by 3, and this 1 pi will cancel out. So a0 is 8 pi square by 3. So first Fourier coefficient is a0 equal to 8 pi square divided by 3. Now we calculate second Fourier coefficient. an is given by 1 by pi, limits are from 0 to 2 pi, x square. First we write fx cos nx dx, and then we will put, first we write down the formula. Now here fx is x square, so we put fx equal to x square cos nx dx. So now here we have function x square whose derivative will be 0 after 2 steps. So we apply integration by parts considering u equal to x square and v equal to cos nx. We have discussed the formula for integration by parts in previous lecture. So we keep x square as it is, and in the product we write down integral of cos nx, which is sin nx divided by n, minus derivative of first bracket, which is 2x, into integral of second bracket, which is minus cos nx divided by n into n, which is n square, plus again derivative of first bracket, which is 2, and integral of second bracket, which is 1 by n square into sin nx by n, so that is going to be minus sin nx by n cube, and limits of x are from 0 to 2 pi. So now first we put upper limit. We don't have to simplify all these brackets, we can directly put the limits, and we will be careful that while applying this formula for integration by parts, we will not multiply these two, okay, because we require integral of this in the next step. So we will keep minus cos nx by n square as it is, we will keep 2x as it is, we will not write this as plus 2x into cos nx by n square. Why? Because in the next step we require derivative of 2x and integral of minus cos nx by n square. So we will keep all these brackets as it is. Now we put limits of x. So upper limit, for upper limit we have x equal to 2 pi. So here we have sin nx. So if we put x equal to 2 pi in sin nx, we have sin 2n pi, and this is equal to 0, because we know that sin n pi is 0 if n is integer. We have seen this formula in the previous lecture, that sin n pi equal to 0 if n is integer. Now here n is natural number, therefore 2n is also natural number. So we have integral multiple of pi, therefore this will be 0 when x equal to 2 pi. Similarly this is also 0 when x equal to 2 pi, and here we will have 2 into 2 pi, negative negative positive, so we will have 2 into 2 pi, that is 4 pi divided by n square into cosine of 2n pi. Here we put x equal to 2 pi, so we have cos 2n pi. 2 into 2 pi, that is 4 pi, divided by n square, negative negative positive. So this is for upper limit x equal to 2 pi, minus we put x equal to 0. So because we have x square in the product, this term will be 0. This is also 0 when x equal to 0. And here if we put x equal to 0, we have sin 0, which is 0. So for lower limit we obtain 0. So now we are left with 1 by pi 4 pi by n square. This we can rewrite as we know that cos n pi is minus 1 raised to n. So instead of n pi we have cos 2n pi. So that is going to be minus 1 raised to 2n. We are using this fact. Cos n pi is minus 1 raised to coefficient of pi. Here coefficient of pi is 2n, so we have cos 2n pi equal to minus 1 raised to 2n. Now pi will cancel out and this is going to be 1. Minus 1 raised to 2n can be rewritten as minus 1 square raised to n, which is minus 1 square is 1, 1 raised to n is 1. So what we obtain as values of an is given by 4 divided by n square. N is from 1, 2, 3 and so on. So these are the Fourier coefficients an. Now we calculate last Fourier coefficient bn. The formula for bn is 1 over pi. Limits of integration are 0 to 2 pi. Here we multiply fx with sine function. So now fx is x square. So we have x square into sine nx dx. So here also we will consider u equal to x square because its derivative will vanish after some steps, and v equal to sine nx. So x square as it is integral of sine nx, which is minus cos nx divided by n, minus derivative of first bracket, which is x square, its derivative is 2x, integral of second bracket, so minus 1 by n, and integral of cos nx is sin nx by n, so it is minus sin nx divided by n square, minus 1 by n as it is, integral of cos nx is sin nx by n square, plus derivative of first bracket, which is 2, integral of minus sin nx by n square is cos nx divided by n cube. X is from 0 to 2 pi. Here minus 1 by n square as it is, integral of cos sin nx is minus cos nx by n. So minus minus will be plus, and we have n square into n, which is n cube. So first we put x equal to 2 pi. So that will make these two terms, this one term 0. Here we will have sin 2n pi, which is 0. And we simplify this for x equal to 2n pi. X equal to 2 pi. So 2 pi square, which is 4 pi square, divided by n into cos n into 2 pi, which is cos 2n pi, plus 2 cos 2n pi divided by n cube. This is for x equal to 2 pi. When x is 0, this term becomes 0. This term also becomes 0 due to x in the product. And here we have 2 over n cube into cosine of 0. Now, as we discussed, cos 2n pi is given by minus 1 raised to 2n, which is always 1. So this is going to be 1. This is 2 upon n cube, and that will cancel out with this minus 2 upon n cube. Or we can write one more step, minus 4 pi square divided by n, cos 2n pi is 1, plus 2 by n cube, cos 2n pi is 1, minus this is 0, 2 by n cube, because cos 0 is 1. So 2 by n cube will cancel out, and we are left with 1 over pi minus 4 pi square divided by n. So here 1 pi will cancel out, and we obtain minus 4 pi divided by n. So therefore Bn equal to minus 4 pi divided by n. N runs from 1 to 3 and so on. So these are the last Fourier coefficients Bn. So once we have all the Fourier coefficients, we can write down the Fourier series of fx. Now here our function fx is continuous at all points. It is polynomial function. So therefore Fourier series of fx equal to x square is, so here we can write fx equal to this Fourier series, because our function is continuous at every point x. Therefore the value of Fourier series at every point x equal to f of x. So now we substitute values of fx is x square. Here we write 1 by 2, and a0 was 8 pi square by 3. So 1 by 2 into 8 pi square divided by 3, sigma n equal to 1 to infinity. An is 4 by n square. So 4 by n square into cos nx. Bn is minus 4 pi divided by n into sin nx. And here x is in between 0 to 2 pi. Let me check Bn, which is minus 4 pi by n. So therefore we can rewrite this as, here 2 will cancel out, and we have 4 pi square divided by 3. We can separate out this sigma of this minus sigma of this, and 4 is independent of n, so we can take 4 outside. 4 times sigma n equal to 1 to infinity cos nx divided by n square, minus sigma 4 pi by n sin nx. 4 pi is independent of n, so we write it outside, minus 4 pi sigma n equal to 1 to infinity sin nx by n. And this is valid for every x in 0 to 2 pi. If we wish, we can write down few terms of this, both the summations. So x square is 4 pi square by 3 plus 4 times, for n equal to 1 we have cos x divided by 1 square. For n equal to 2 we have cos 2x divided by 2 square. For n equal to 3 we have cos 3x divided by 3 square, and so on, minus 4 pi sin nx by n. So sin nx by n is, for n equal to 1 we have sin x by 1, for n equal to 2 sin 2x by 2, for n equal to 3 sin 3x by 3, and so on. So this is the Fourier series of x square. Now we are asked to prove that sum of this series 1 over 1 square minus 1 over 2 square plus 1 over 3 square. We have to prove that this infinite series has sum pi square by 12. So we will try to find out this type of terms in the Fourier series which we have derived. So our Fourier series derived is this one. So if we observe, we obtain those terms in this part. Here we have 1 by 1 square, 1 by 2 square, 1 by 3 square, and so on. But we don't require cos x, cos 2x, cos 3x. Also we have to make sure that we have alternately positive and negative signs, and we don't require all these sign terms. So we have to select proper value of x from this interval such that we obtain that required series. So if we put x equal to 0, suppose we put x equal to 0, then this is going to be 1 by 1 square. For x equal to 0, we will obtain 1 by 1 square plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 3 square, and so on. But in required series, we have alternately positive and negative signs. Here we require 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 3 square. So x equal to 0 will not work. So we have to think for another value of x for which we have alternately positive and negative signs. So that we have to decide by trial and error. So we require alternately positive and negative signs. So we can try x equal to pi. So suppose we consider x equal to pi, then this part is going to vanish because we know that sin n pi is 0 for any integer n. And for x equal to pi, cos pi is going to be minus 1. Cos 2 pi is minus 1 square, that is 1. Cos 3 pi is going to be minus 1, and so on. So for x equal to pi, we will obtain that required series 1 by 1 square plus minus 1 by 2 square, and so on. So in this way we have to decide by trial and error that for which value of x in the given interval we will be able to derive the required series. So here this works for x equal to pi, and we know that function is continuous at every point. So at x equal to pi, sum of series on right hand side will be equal to value of function at x equal to pi. So we consider x equal to pi, we obtain, so for x equal to pi, left hand side is x square, which is pi square. This is equal to 4 pi square by 3 plus 4 times, we write one more step, cos pi over 1 square plus cos 2 pi over 2 square, cos 3 pi over 3 square, and so on, plus cos 3 pi over 3 square, and so on. And all these terms are going to be 0 because we know that sin n pi is 0 if n is integer. So we obtain this summation for x equal to pi. Now we simplify, we take 4 pi square by 3 on left hand side So this is equal to 4 times, and we know that cos pi is -1, so we have -1 by 1 square. Cos 2 pi is 1. If we have even multiple of pi, value is 1. If we have odd multiple of pi, value is -1. So now we can simplify this. This is 3 pi square minus 4 pi square, that is minus pi square by 3. Here we can take negative sign outside the bracket, so that we have minus 4 times 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 3 square, and so on. So therefore we can see negative sign will cancel out, and we have pi square by 12 equal to 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 3 square, and so on. So we are able to derive this series. We are able to derive that sum of this infinite series on the right hand side equal to pi square by 12 using the concept of Fourier series. So this is very nice concept. We are able to find out the sum of this infinite series on the right hand side using the concept of Fourier series. This we can rewrite as pi square by 12 equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity. Here we have n square. We can write minus 1 raised to n minus 1 or n plus 1. So sometimes they can ask you that prove that sigma 1 by n square into minus 1 raised to n minus 1 equal to pi square by 12. So in this way we can derive the Fourier series of a periodic function of period 2 pi, and using that Fourier series we can derive this type of results. We can derive the sum of some particular series using the concept of Fourier series. So this is all about this session. In the next lectures we will be doing some more problems on Fourier series of periodic functions of period 2 pi. I hope you like this lecture. Thank you very much.